There's a seed in someone's kitchen drawer right now that has been passed down for 4 generations. And here's the strange part that almost nobody talks about. That seed, the one your grandmother grew, the one that survived 2 world wars and a dozen bad summers, does not appear on any official approved list anywhere in Europe. It is not banned. It is not illegal to plant in your own garden. But in the eyes of the system that decides which seeds can legally be sold across the European Union, it is something stranger than banned. It is a ghost. It exists. People grow it. It feeds families every single year. And yet, officially, on paper, it is invisible. Today, I want to show you exactly how a living, breathing heirloom variety becomes a ghost in the legal record. Why the new European seed rules being decided this year do not actually ban your heirloom seeds, despite what half the internet is screaming. And the one thing that genuinely changes for anyone who saves, swaps, or grows old varieties. Stay with me, because the truth here is far more useful than the panic. Let us start with the word that scares everyone: patent. You have probably seen the headlines. The European Union is about to patent nature. Ban your tomatoes, criminalize your garden. Here is what is actually true. There's no law called the Ghost Patent Law. I checked. It does not exist. What does exist is something with a far more boring name: the Plant Reproductive Material Regulation. And right now, in 2026, it is sitting in the final stage of European negotiation, the part they call the Trilogue. This regulation is replacing seed rules that are more than 50 years old. So the change is real, the timing is real, but the story being told about it is mostly wrong. Let me explain the part that creates the ghost. For decades, if a company wanted to sell a seed variety across Europe, that variety had to be registered on an official list. To get on that list, the seed had to pass tests. It had to be distinct, uniform, and stable. Distinct, meaning clearly different from other varieties. Uniform, meaning every plant looks basically the same. Stable, meaning it stays that way generation after generation. Now think about a true heirloom for 1 second. A real heirloom variety is the opposite of uniform. Stop. I need to be honest with you about something before we go further. Most of what you will find online about this topic is built to frighten you, not to inform you. I went and read the actual regulation text in the parliamentary briefings, and I built a plain language reference document from it. It is called the Heritage Legal Status Map, and it shows you, in normal words, which categories of seed are regulated, which are exempt, and where your own varieties actually fall. The link is in the description and pinned in the top comment. I will keep explaining everything for free right here. The document just saves you from reading 200 pages of legal language. Now, back to why your heirloom is a ghost. A genuine heirloom has personality. The plants vary. One is taller, one fruits earlier, one resists a disease, the others do not. That variation is the entire point. It is why these plants survived in real gardens for 100 years. But that same variation means they often fail the uniformity test, so they were never registered. So officially, they do not exist on the approved commercial list. That is the ghost, not banned, just unregistered, invisible, and quietly excluded from the legal marketplace. And for a long time, that exclusion had real consequences for the small seed companies trying to keep these varieties alive. So here's the question everyone actually cares about. Does the new regulation make this worse or better? The honest answer surprises most people. In several ways, it makes it better. The new rules create a special category called conservation varieties, with simplified and cheaper registration designed for exactly these old, local, traditional types. The European Parliament position goes further. It pushes to exempt gene banks, seed libraries, and amateur gardeners from many of the registration rules entirely. And there is language stating that seed shared between non-professional users, regular gardeners like you and me, is simply not regulated at all. Let me say that again clearly, because the panic videos will never tell you this. Sharing seeds with your neighbor for free, garden to garden, falls outside these rules. I want to pause here because this is the heart of it. I built a second reference for you called the Seed Saver Exemption Checklist. It lays out, point by point, the situations that are explicitly exempt under the proposal, so you can see in 30 seconds whether anything you do is even touched by this regulation. Same place. Description and pinned comment. Everything I'm telling you now stays free in this video. So if the rules are getting friendlier to heirlooms, why are people so frightened? Because the proposal is not finished, and the details are being fought over right now. 3 things are genuinely on the table, and they matter. First, the exact definition of marketing and professional operator. If it is written too broadly, it could accidentally catch seed libraries, schools, even small community groups handing out seeds. Second, the fees. Even a simplified registration still costs money, and for a tiny seed keeper with almost no turnover, any fee can be the difference between surviving and shutting down. Third, geography. One version of the rules says a conservation variety can only be produced in its region of origin, which sounds protective. but can actually trap a useful variety inside one border. This is the real story, not a ban. A negotiation where the difference between protecting old seeds and accidentally strangling the people who keep them comes down to a few words and a few articles. And that fight is happening this year, with a target to settle the text by summer. Now here's what frustrates me as a gardener. All of this information exists. It is public. But it is written for lawyers and lobbyists, not for the person actually holding the seeds. Nobody has translated it for the backyard. So you are left choosing between two bad options. Option 1, the panic channels telling you everything is banned. Option 2, the official documents that take a law degree to read. That gap is exactly what I want to close for you. So let me be practical about what you should actually do, whether you garden in Europe or anywhere else watching this. You do not need to panic buy seeds. You do not need to hide your tomatoes. What genuinely protects an heirloom variety is the oldest technology in farming, saving it, growing it, and sharing it. A variety that is actively grown and passed hand to hand cannot be erased by a list, because it lives in gardens, not in a registry. The ghost only disappears if people stop growing it. That is why the conservation networks, the seed banks, the swap groups matter more than any regulation. And it is why knowing your own legal footing actually frees you to keep doing the thing that matters. For that, I made the third reference, the Regional Variety Sourcing Guide. It points you toward the legitimate conservation networks and seed libraries where heritage varieties are kept and shared region by region. So you are sourcing from people who protect diversity rather than erase it. All three, the Heritage Legal Status Map, the Seed Saver Exemption Checklist, and the Regional Variety Sourcing Guide, are linked in the description and the pinned comment. They are the companion to this video for anyone who wants the organized version instead of taking notes. Let me bring this home. Your heirloom seeds are not being banned. That headline is fear, not fact. What is real is quieter and more important. A 50-year-old system is being rewritten this year, and whether it ends up protecting old varieties or quietly squeezing out the small keepers depends on details still being decided. The seed in that kitchen drawer is a ghost only because a system was built around uniformity, and heirlooms were built around the opposite, around resilience, around variety, around survival. The good news is that you hold the one thing no regulation can touch: the choice to grow it, save it, and pass it on. That is how a ghost stays alive. If this gave you a clearer picture than the panic out there, subscribe, because I dig into the real story behind the scary headlines in gardening, food, and the land. The 3 references are waiting for you below. And the next time someone tells you your seeds are illegal, you will actually know better. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.